Hello and welcome to my channel. I have another question, and it is, who is greatest in the kingdom? The greatest person in the kingdom will of course be Jesus. After that, ranking the greatest is full of surprises. Matthew 18 verse 1 to 5 records, "At that time the disciples came to Jesus and asked, 'Who then is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?' Jesus called a little child to him and placed the child among them, and he said, 'Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore whoever takes the lowly position of this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me.'" This incident occurred after the Transfiguration and after Jesus' second prediction of his death. Jesus had also just spoken about paying temple taxes, essentially claiming exemption as the Son of God, yet miraculously providing for both Peter's tax and his own, so as Jesus' power was evident. And the disciples recognized him as Messiah and King. Evidently, they were interested in what their roles would be in Jesus' kingdom. Rather than provide qualifications for the greatest or talk about a hierarchical structure, Jesus said those who became like children, humble, were the greatest. Interestingly, after Jesus talks about the greatest being like a child, John tells Jesus that he had tried to stop others who were casting out demons in Jesus' name. Apparently the lesson had not quite sunken in, or perhaps John was convicted by Jesus' words and chose to confess his mistake. Jesus explained that what mattered was not who was doing the works, but the name in which the works were being done. It is God who deserves the glory, not an elite group of his followers. We also see in Matthew 20 and Mark 10 a request from John and James to sit with Jesus in his kingdom. Jesus replied by asking them if they were able to suffer as he was going to suffer. He then said, "To sit at my right or left is not for me to grant. These places belong to those for whom they have been prepared by my Father." Being great in God's kingdom is not about prestige or privilege. Rather, it involves responsibility and sacrifice. Jesus told his disciples, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it. What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul? For the Son of Man is going to come in his Father's glory with his angels, and then he will reward each person according to what they have done. To be great is to serve sacrificially. Being great in God's kingdom is about giving oneself for the sake of God's glory and for the benefit of others. Luke 22 tells about another dispute among the disciples about who was the greatest. This time during the Last Supper, Jesus said to them, "The kings of the Gentiles lord it over them, and those who exercise authority over them call themselves benefactors. But you are not to be like that. Instead, the greatest among you should be like the youngest, and the one who rules like the one who serves. For who is greater, the one who is at the table or the one who serves? Is it not the one who is at the table? But I am among you as one who serves." This is the same night Jesus performed the service of the lowest of the servants by washing his disciples' feet. John 13 tells us Jesus did this because of his love for his disciples and also fully knowing his own relationship with the Father. Again, we see that the greatest is not the one with power or prestige, but the one who is secure in his Father's love and willing to serve. Consistent in Jesus' teaching is that his kingdom is not like the kingdoms of this world. Humans tend to be concerned with social status, political clout, and pecking order. We tend to rank people according to how things look to us in this world. But Jesus warned that using earthly criteria will never give us an accurate picture of rank in God's kingdom. Human judgment will give way to God someday. Many who are first will be last, and many who are last will be first. Rather than strive to be the greatest in this world, we should simply trust in Jesus and serve others, thereby serving Him. Positions of power are meant to be positions of service, rather than lord powers over others. We are to use any influence or resources we have to serve others. The greatest in the kingdom are those who have the humility of a child and the meekness of Jesus. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. What is valued in God's kingdom is loving the way He loved us, selflessly. Thank you for listening to this question, and I'll see you next time.